Wow. Yeah, we're flying by the seat of our pants here, but it's the first episode.
I had to create one thing. I'm sorry. The intro I had to create while we were going
Yeah,
live.
it's okay. It's okay. This is, it's for our patrons, our delighted, wonderful patrons. This is episode 1. It feels weird to say that.
Yeah.
Of Sik and
Episode 1.
Nick's Flicks.
Mm.
A podcast about movies born out of the fact that we go on many
Tangents.
half-hour or more tangents about film and stuff during the XboxEra podcast. So this was a no-brainer for us to do this, and it's.
I like how this looks.
Yeah,
I like how this looks.
very
It looks
snazzy,
nicer
isn't it?
than the other podcasts. I like how this
I've
looks.
been contemplating getting a new background for the main podcast. You like this one? I found
No,
it
the
is
background for
copyright
the
free.
main podcast is fine, and it suits Xbox. I just really like how this looks. I'm
It's the
very
purple,
much a
isn't it?
house. It's the purple because that's
It's
my
the
favorite color.
purple.
But it's also the housey disco vibe because I used to love going clubbing, and like I'm a very it's a very nightclubby theme.
Yeah, it's
Even though
very
it's supposed to
you.
be movies, it feels more like a nightclub. I like it.
It's the old borders I had used on the main podcast for a bit. They didn't really fit the color scheme, but I kept them and they fit here real well.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. But we're here, and I want to kind of as it's the first episode, I'm going to kind of. This is a work in progress, and this is mostly for our patrons, right? So this is exclusive to folks that subscribe from, I think it's the 6th tier, the 2nd tier and above,
and YouTube members.
And YouTube members. So yeah, you guys get an exclusive hidden link. We'd prefer it if you don't share it, right? Because it's for you. This is your perks that you get as being a supporter of XboxEra. And the general premise is this: when there's a new movie, we're going to try and both go and see it. So I've already been investing in maybe I need to buy one of those cinema cards that just gets me like a couple of free tickets to go as much as I want, because it gets expensive.
I've got rewards.
I've
got village rewards.
So I'm looking at that. And we're going to try and do several things. So if there's a new movie like John Wick 4, we're going to go see that movie. We'll talk about that movie, but we'll also try and pair it up with a classic that we haven't seen. And in quieter months when there's no movies, we're going to rely on you, our patrons, to tell us what you would like to hear our thoughts on. It can be any genre, any film. We'll run polls and we'll listen to you guys. If we haven't got a set show in mind, we'd love to have that feedback so that we can kind of watch the weird and bespoke, maybe pull something out of the hat that neither of us have seen and get our feedback and thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But this week, this episode is John Wick 4, which I think Nick and I are big fans already of John Wick. And we also threw a classic in, which kind of is thematically similar in that it's about a hitman, which is the 97 classic Grosse Point Blank. So we'll talk about both of those. And if you haven't seen either, we recommend you do. It's worth noting that this podcast will be a spoiler cast. We're not going to talk. We're going to talk in depth about the plot, right? We're not going to pussyfoot around and try not, because that's pointless. So if you haven't seen either of them, give it a listen after you have. But yeah, you looking forward to this, Nick? Is this, talking about movies?
Yeah.
We're going to lose the tangents in the main show.
Hopefully.
We're not. We're just going to come up with new tangents to talk about.
This is just bonus tangent content.
It is. Maybe it should just be called the Bonus Tangent Show.
Yeah, bonus tangent content. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, John Wick 4 released.
Got my T-shirt to commemorate.
That's very good.
Big flicks.
Was that just
to edit it?
Was that just a random purchase in a shop somewhere?
Yeah, one day I was in a shop and my wife saw this and she's like, "You have to buy this." So I did. Nick Flicks. That's the uniform. I have to make sure I wear it.
Yeah, it's very good. Maybe I need to get myself one made. We'll do something with the merch store. Sik and Nick's Flicks t-shirts.
Yes,
but John Wick 4.
John Wick 4.
We've spoken a lot about the previous movies in many tangents across the podcast. And when we saw the trailers for this one, I was excited. I did a massive rewatch before I went to the cinema to see it. So I watched all 3 pretty much back to back over like 2 days in prep. And I guess before we dive into John Wick 4, before you've seen John Wick 4, what was your favorite? Was it the first one?
The first one.
Yeah. I'm very similar.
Don't get me wrong. I love all 3, now all 4. I love all of them. But the only thing that if I had to, and disappointed's not the right word. If I had to say something disappointed me about 2, 3, and 4, it's the way they turned it very global and all Illuminati and all that side
They
of it.
added the
It's like,
mythology of the world
yeah,
in a
like
great
I
extent.
I just adored what I loved about the first one was how they created um that legend of John Wick in a very natural way. Like, that idiot Russian kid that stole
Baba
his
Yaga.
yeah, and then his dad is like, "Are you an idiot? Like, do you understand whose car you've stolen, you dickhead?" And you're just like, "Oh, what's he talking about?" And he's like, "It's John Wick's car, man. Like, what are you doing?" And everyone's like, "Oh my god, he took John Wick's car. What a moron!" Like, I loved how it was just more intimate and small scale.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It just went again, still fantastic action movies. Don't get me wrong. It's just the whole Illuminati thing was just all a bit much.
I think, and like, I guess in context. So John Wick 4. Now you've seen it. Where do you rank it in the
Second,
quadrilogy? So you think it's the
I rank
second
it
best
second.
one?
So it's the best of the Illuminati 3. But the first movie, I think, is still the best movie.
So it's
But
interesting.
the fourth
So
one is second best.
I came out of the cinema and I took my partner along, and she was like, "This is not a movie for me." She was quite upfront about it. She was like, "I'll go with you. It's no problem.
My
We'll
wife
go
liked
for
it.
dinner after."
My wife
And
liked
she actually fell asleep twice during it, but whatever.
it.
But I do
Really?
think, I was like, really, it was really loud. We went to see it in IMAX, and it was like it was
A lot of
loud.
action. It's very
Yeah.
unrelenting.
But she just does nothing for her, right? And I was trying to explain to her why they're good movies, and I said it's not about the gratuitous violence; it's the way it's choreographed. It's like watching Flashdance if you're into.
It's
Kung
almost
Fu.
artistic. It's almost artistic.
And the thing that I came away with John Wick 4 was that I loved it. I thought it was great. It was the characters were all brilliant. Donnie Yen was fantastic. All of the kind of villains were really, really well built out.
Even
But
Sarsgaard.
yeah, everyone was.
He did it well.
But I thought that of every fight scene, I could shave off 5 minutes on the editing room floor. Now, I don't mind because I enjoy watching the choreography, but as a film, I was like, there were a lot of times where I was like, oh, okay, there's 3 more guys, and John's going to flip them here and flip them there, and I'm like, I'm not critiquing it, right? I'm not saying it sucked in any way, shape, or form, but I do feel of all of them, it could have lost about half an hour's worth of fat and trimmed the.
It didn't need to be that long. Like,
No.
I was surprised to see how long it was. I'm like, it did not really need to be that long, but it didn't feel long to me.
No.
Like, I got out of that. Like, we saw how long, because we didn't realize it was going to be an almost 3-hour movie.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 2 hours 49 or something like that.
Yeah, my sister-in-law was babysitting the kids, and we're like, oh yeah, an hour and a half, 2 hours, we'll be back. And then we checked when we got there, and we're like, oh my God, this is a 3-hour movie. So we had to ring her and be like, is this okay? Like, this movie goes for 3 hours. She's like, yeah, it's fine. But it was paced quite well. I don't think it felt like a 3-hour movie.
No, I agree. And I think the thing for me is that it felt like a last hurrah. Like, I mean, we're talking spoilers here. It's intimated, and you can go either way, but you could leave that as John Wick did what he set out to do, and he's laid to rest next to his wife, right?
Well, I mean, they don't intimate it. They lead you to. They tell you he's dead. Now, whether
they leave some wiggle room. You never see. Like, you see him fall over and succumb to his wounds, right?
You see him fall over, then you see his gravestone next to his wife's.
But is he just free? Like, because they've already said, yeah, we've penned a 5th, John Wick, right? But whether we do it or not, we don't know. We'll see how we'll feel.
I think they combined. I think what ended up happening because of COVID was that's why this movie was 3 hours, because this movie was John Wick 4 and 5 in one.
It does feel like a last hurrah. Like, Keanu I know he doesn't look like he's aged a lot. but he is. I definitely felt it as well in some of the action scenes. Like he was
Yeah.
slower. Like
He was
but
slow.
at the same time, Donnie Yen is like what 60.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Is he ridiculously?
You know
good
where
in
I
what he
noticed
does.
it with Keanu with the
Well,
nunchucks.
yeah, you could feel like that was a real challenge for him.
He was just like, and the nunchuck. Is he hitting him very hard? And this is with the camera trying to make it look all actiony, and he's like,
Yeah.
This
And
ain't
that's
no
what I
Bruce
mean. It's
Lee,
like
who was like,
there's a limit, I think, that kind of got reached. But I do think it was a big last hurrah. And some of the action sequences throughout, I think every one of them, in any other film, any other action movie, you could take one John Wick sequence and it would probably be like the best action sequence in that other movie. And they just do like 12 of them. And like big call outs are the massive opening kung fu battle in Osaka, right? And that's just that set the tone. All the neon and the imagery was ridiculous. All the glass, and then you've
even
got
the part in was it Russia? I can't remember where it was with the big massive dude, and they played poker.
It was in Belarus, right? Belarus.
Yeah, that something like that. That scene was full on.
He was great fun. And you know that's the same guy that I think was the villain in Ip Man 3 or 4.
I haven't seen IP Man. I haven't seen
his name's Scott Adkins. He's incredibly ripped and in great shape, and that was a really good fat suit.
Yeah, that was a really good fat suit, right? But it was the same guy. I was just like, oh my god, they made him a chubby.
I've got a mate that's full on into IP Man. I've never seen them.
They are so cheesy. Like the first one's quite serious, and you think okay, but then they get more and more like ridiculous, and you think like, how many lives did Ip Man have? Just watching Donnie Yen work, like when I first saw Donnie Yen in the movie, I was like, is that Donnie Yen? Because he looks like he had like all like stubble and he had his shades on and he looked like a bit cool, and they didn't give away that he was blind straight away, which I liked. And then when you see him next, he's all like trim and ready to go. But man, he was good at what he did. The speed at which he can still move is astonishing. And the way that they were like, yeah, we want you to do this as if you're blind. So he was never looking at his combatants in the eye. He was always like parrying, like almost like Matrix Neo, you know, whatever. And it was just like the way he performed was just next level. But you had all of these crazy, crazy sequences. The Arc de Triomphe with the cars just constantly being a threat.
Oh my god, that was unreal. Like, the way people were just getting hit by cars, but that's the thing. Like even John got hit by cars a couple of times, and he's just like getting up and
shrugs it off.
And I find the idea that everyone is wearing a Kevlar armor suit, and they're all just like, blocking those bullets.
It is a bit. It starts to stretch credulity a little bit. Doesn't it?
Well, you know how an actual body armor works is the moment it absorbs some damage, it's kind of done. Like you need new body armor. It breaks, so it's not going to really stop anything anymore.
But it hits you, even if you're wearing a vest. You get knocked down, and it wins you, and it takes you out. But these guys are just like, whoop.
Can you imagine? Like a bullet hitting that? It's not going to just flap off. You know, it's going to like.
That's basically what they were doing. They were just like, this is my shield.
But you just suspend some disbelief, right? And you just
I know.
You're in that world. I mean, we're talking about a world where, like, speaking about the Arc de Triomphe piece, like no one's getting out their cars and running. Oh, what the fuck's going on? Like that roundabout? If that shit had started going down in real life, that roundabout would be empty. Like there'd be no more cars.
Everyone would have just stopped. Yeah.
John Wick's world is the Hitman world of assassination, where people they're just used to everyone being an assassin.
Yeah.
But again, it's part of the mythos of that world. It's almost like they blend into the background and they don't get seen.
But again, the first movie didn't have that craziness.
No.
This is what I'm saying. This is why I like the first movie the best, because it's just more grounded. It's more intimate. It's more, that's why I will always prefer the first movie. Having said that, could you imagine them doing 4 movies like the first movie? Do you know what I mean? It's this weird, catch-22. Like, as good as the first movie was, how many times can you do that movie? Like, I feel like the first movie as it was can't have a sequel, really. Unless he just goes to a different city and I don't know. Like, so I get why it went the direction it did. But at the same time, yeah, it's a weird one. The Illuminati stuff got a bit much for me. But again, I still love all 4 movies. They're amazing movies.
Yeah. And I have to give a shout out to, Donnie Yen was great. Hiroyuki Sanada. Am I saying that right?
It was cool seeing him.
It was great seeing him.
Actually, hold on. Is he the guy I think he is? Hold on. He was in the new Mortal Kombat, yeah?
He was the he always gets kind of typecast as the katana wielding, and he kind of did
Japanese
here.
guy, as the Japanese guy in every movie.
But he seemed to have a lot of fun with it, and I have a feeling like that the whole daughter plot line, it's so funny actually. When we were in there, the credits came up, and my missus was like, "Okay, let's go grab some dinner," and I was like, "Whoa."
End
credit sequence, and she was like, "It's not a Marvel movie." I was like,
"No,
they all do them nowadays." I said, "The key is if the lights come up when the credits start rolling, film's over. If the lights stay down,
yes, normally my lights came on." And I'm like, why did they turn the lights on? Doesn't this have an end credit sequence? So most people just walked out. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this has an end credit sequence. So
it did.
So there's like 6 people that hung around. Everyone else left.
Yeah, and it did have one, which was just
It did, but it didn't add much.
No, but I wonder if there's going to be again, that's kind of like, is there a spin-off there with...
They're already working on multiple spin-offs.
Yeah, there's a series as well, I think, that's in play. But do you want to watch John Wick without Keanu Reeves?
No, I don't think I would.
It depends entirely on how good the person the movie centered around is. They get somebody really good, why not?
I mean, I'll give it a go. And this is the thing, is for me, it's back to that. Yes, the movie was too long. Yes, it was probably the best of the Illuminati John Wicks, but the professionalism, the choreography, the spectacle on display was second to none. So do I want to see more of that? Yeah, I'll sit down and chew through it, because like it's great to just be like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's brutal. It's not Raid levels of brutal to me. Like, there's a big difference. John Wick takes very long panning shots, and that's where Keanu Reeves feels his slowest, when they really pulled back the camera. And he's very, because you can see it. He's a very tall guy. He is 60 odd, right? 58, I think. And
is he really?
I think he is. Yeah. Like, I could be wrong. I'd be somewhere around there. But if you compare it to something like the Raid, that's very quick cuts, and they're always doing the classic kind of martial arts.
He's 59. He's 59. He's 60 in September.
That's crazy to me. Like, he is 9 years younger than my father.
Would you like to know the spin-offs? Because I looked them up, and there are 2 that have been greenlit already.
Yeah, go on.
The first one is a movie called Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas, that takes place between John Wick 3 and 4, and has John. It's got multiple people in it from the main movies in small roles. And then there's a TV prequel series called The Continental in the works.
That I could see myself watching that.
Guys, I'm sorry.
How sad was it? How sad was it that Lance Reddick straight away? I'm like, what are the odds of that?
It was brutal. It was a cool send off for the character. Like, his name was Sharon.
Yeah.
But seeing Lance Reddick die so early on in the movie,
straight away, like
in
right
such
at the start of the film,
cold-hearted way, was just so kind of sad, considering what actually happened. I was a bit bummed out. I was just like,
me and my wife were like, oh my god, that fast.
Yeah, like it would have been nice to see him have like a really awesome send off, but to just be murdered in cold blood, man, it's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, like overall, I think the best action sequence though of the whole film has to be the God view GTA 2 style
I said to my wife
Bird's
straight
eye
away, I
camera.
go, that's the video game view. I go, there's
Right?
a lot of twin
Like-
stick shooters that are like, ooh, from that top-down view. I'm like,
man,
that's
I was
cool
like,
as.
I need to play like hyper realistic graphics, but from that bird's eye view, my god, it could be
Yeah.
so good.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Like and again, as good as all those action sequences are, my favorite thing about those John Wick fights when he's got a pistol with him and he does those really short, sharp pops to the head, like to make sure someone is finished off. I absolutely love that. I love the way he does that. Just bang, 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 bang. And that Osaka fight with half those armored guys. So he's like shooting them in the head to like distract them because they've got those helmets on, but then he gets in close and just tuk into the neck, into the weak spot. Just oh, I love it. It's so good.
I mean, it is like weirdly cathartic, and I can get why some people would be just completely turned off from it, but it's just a level of skill on display. Like, and the fact that Keanu Reeves does a lot of these stunts himself, like, it's very rare. It's really amazing if you think about it. Like the director, Chad Stahelski, I can never pronounce his surname. He was John Wick's. He was Keanu Reeves' stuntman in the Matrix movies. So like they had this relationship, and you can tell it's directed by stuntmen. Like he knows what he wants to do, and it's just nuts. Some of the stuff they do, it really is.
It's crazy. It's
like
I feel like the John Wick movies and the John Wick universe is already on the same trajectory if they were to keep going as the Fast and the Furious movies.
Yeah, they just get more and more ridiculous.
They get more and more crazy. So it starts simple. Fast and the Furious was just a racing movie. Oh, let's race our cars and put turbos on our cars. And then they start just slowly gets crazier and crazier. And it starts to be about planes, and it's that they become superheroes effectively. Like by the 9th, 10th movie now in Fast and the Furious, they are essentially invincible superheroes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And that's where John Wick has been going to. Like it starts really small and intimate, and Illuminati. Oh my God, now he's falling off buildings and surviving. He's essentially a superhero. Yeah. Like people forget in John Wick 3, because John Wick 3, all the John Wicks have been on free-to-air TV here as a build-up to the movie. And I just caught the end of John Wick 3, and I forgot that Ian McShane, Winston, just, that girl goes to him, what about him? What about John Wick? And he's like, well, he's got to die. So he's like, bang, 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 shoots John Wick. John falls off the building, hits a few things on the way down, and lands, and he's still alive.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Are you pissed, John? Yeah. Like, there's not much script either. Like, but it's fine. Maybe not.
But that's not what you're there for.
No, it's not. It's not.
You're not there for dialogue.
But it's wonderful seeing people like Skarsgård and Ian McShane. They get the lion's share of the exposition, right?
Yes,
and they do it with great.
Skarsgård's would good. All I see is it though. When I see his face, all I see is it. But I will say that's probably, of the Illuminati John Wicks, that's my only gripe with them. The big bad, they put these young actors in those roles.
Yeah, you want someone.
Why are they such? I want someone a bit older, a bit more regal, with a bit more gravitas. Like
not just a spoiled, arrogant.
Yeah, it's just jerk. Like I have no fear of these kids because
when they cast. Clancy, man, I'm forgetting his name.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Yeah, when they cast him, I was like, and I saw him like with the big beard, and he was like, "Oh, the Harbinger," and I was like, "Oh, okay, this is the big bad." But it wasn't. It was Skarsgård, and I was.
But should have done his Mr. Krabs voice.
Clancy Brown would work in that role, the marquee role. Clancy Brown would work. I'd be scared shitless of Clancy Brown. Or if it was Hiroyuki Sanada, I know that he played a different role, but that kind of actor.
Yeah, a couple more years on him.
Yeah, like the girl that they had in John Wick
3. Ruby Ray from Orange and There's a New Black?
Ruby Rose.
Ruby Rose.
No, it wasn't Ruby Rose. what was her name? It wasn't Ruby Rose. She didn't play the marquee role in John Wick 3. Let me find
No,
her.
she was John Wick 2.
Oh, I forgot that Halle Berry was in John Wick 3. Asia Kate Dillon, the adjudicator.
Oh yeah, she was pointless. She wasn't threatening.
Again, I wasn't scared of her. She's this young, I don't know, they're too young. They're kids. How are they this fearful person in position of power when they're 3 years old? You gotta give me an actor or actress who's got that. But the problem is those actors are already in other roles. So Angelica Houston, Lawrence Fishburne, Lance Reddick, Ian McShane, they're the actors that should be in the role of the adjudicator or the marquee, not these kids. I don't know. That's the only part of those movies.
He was 36. That's not a kid.
Yeah, I know what he means though. He's
know what I mean. I'm 42. Anyone under 35 for me is a
business where most of them die.
I know, but
very few make it to old age.
But that's how they develop. That's how John Wick has that aura about him, because he keeps surviving and he's unstoppable. So I don't know. I understand that logic. Don't get me wrong, but I don't fear the character. When there's a good bad guy, you're like, oh man, I'm scared of this guy, and I'm not even in this movie. But when it's just a kid, you're just like,
I know what you mean.
Spoiled shit. I just want him to die. When Skarsgård finally cops it, and you could see that coming. You knew him and Donnie Yen had something planned.
Yeah,
I said,
I saw that John Wick
they
didn't
planned
shoot.
Something.
I was like, he's still got a bullet.
Yes, that's what I said. I'm like, why didn't he shoot? I'm like, they've planned something here. They've 100% planned something.
Yeah,
and
it was nice though.
It was yeah, I'll take the finishing shot.
I
want the finishing shot.
I did read that they did test another ending, and apparently the test audiences were like, "Fuck you!" No. So there must have been a more brutal. Really? Yeah. But either way, it was cathartic to see Ian just pop up and go, "You arrogant bastard!" He didn't shoot, and then just, glorious.
So good.
It was good. It was really.
I loved watching him die. Oh wow! I just realized that. Oh, wow. That's Mark Dacascos in John Wick 3. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's not a good actor.
I don't know. I like Mark Dacascos. I did not realize that was him.
Who are we talking about?
In John Wick 3. That full-on big fight he has at the end, with Mark Dacascos. Wow.
Big fight at the end.
Zero. His name's Zero. The character is Zero in
him.
And remember, he stabs him, and then he sits there and he's like, "I'll catch up with you, John." And he's got the sword through him, and he's like, "No, you won't." He just.
I would have loved to have seen the dude from that same dude from John Wick 3 after he's killed. It might be John Wick 2. He's killed the guy's target or his ward, and he leaves him. He had to have the knife fight on the subway. And he just leaves the knife in his heart, and he's like, "Don't pull it out; you'll die." Consider it professional courtesy. I would have loved to have seen that guy come back for a little revenge at some point. But it was great fun, and I'll look forward to watching it again when it hits digital and DVD
streaming services.
And
that's what they are. They're fun. You're not watching them to watch an Academy Award-winning performance. They're there for fun, to be this bombastic or I don't know. I grew up watching martial arts movies, Bruce Lee, all of Bruce Lee's movies, Jean-Claude Van Damme, anything with martial arts, I was there. Anything. And that's what these are. These are like a throwback to those movies, essentially, but on a more grand, let's call it AAA scale. Yeah, and I love them. They're so good.
Have you seen The Raid?
I want more.
Have you seen The Raid and The Raid?
No.
Okay.
That's going to be an episode.
That's going to be an episode, my man. The Raid and The Raid 2. So a tangent within the movie tangent podcast. So if you're talking martial arts, they are probably up there, dude. very different to John Wick in that these guys Indonesian, I think, and they're always filling those moments with like like classic kind of martial arts stuff, but it's all very. There's no wires. It's not like the Matrix, right? It's real stuff. Like there is
They
wires,
just
but
beat the shit out of each other.
it's
Legitimately
nuts.
Yeah,
but
they really contact each other.
The Raid 1 is like almost like Dread with Carl Urban. Like we're in a building, fight your way out. It's very one and done. And then suddenly the Raid 2 comes out of nowhere, and it's like this Godfather epic within the Raid universe. So you've got, and honest to God, I saw the Raid 2 at a cinema near me, and it had like what they called the International Theatre, because these are subtitled films. Like you can watch dubbed versions, but watch it in the original Indonesian with subs. And there was a fight at the end, and it was so utterly brilliantly shot and grueling that like I've never seen it in a cinema in the UK before. Like I was looking across, I was with my best mate, and like people were like edging forward, like proper edge of the seat, and you could see people going, oh, as people were getting, oh, like, and like genuinely you could feel the audience reaction. And that
I was like that in John Wick 4. There was moments in John Wick 4 when I was just like, oh, what?
I was more chuckling, but the Raid is brutal, and I think that's definitely got to be a when we've got no new movies, we'll do a Raid and
you
Raid 2.
You still owe me very bad things.
Yeah, well, we'll do that one first, and then we'll hit up the Raid and the Raid 2. Because if you love martial arts, it's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, I do.
But hey, John Wick 4, if you haven't seen it yet, obviously I hope you haven't listened to this show because we've spoiled quite a bit. John Wick's dead.
Spoiled everything. That's the whole point. Like you don't watch this show if you haven't seen the movie, because I'm not interested in avoiding spoilers. I just want to talk about the movie.
Yeah, and it was great. Really, really enjoyed it. If you had to give it a score out of 5, where would you land? Like stars? How many stars out of 5 would you give John Wick 4?
We doing halves or just fulls?
Yeah, you can do halves.
4, 3.5. 4.
Yeah, I would be in the 3.5 camp personally. It could have stood to lose half hour's worth of fat, but if you love John Wick, you're not going to be complaining about the length. It was very good.
I thought it was paced really well. It didn't feel like a 3-hour movie to me. It didn't drag on.
If your wife was falling asleep a lot, like John's lady friend, then it might feel like it had been dragging. But for me at the theater, it was like that was 2 hours and 40 minutes. It did not feel like that.
No, not for me. I had some idiots in my cinema though. Like I actually audibly screamed at them and told them to shut up. Like, oh, they were just dickheads. Like they were these young kids and they were just being idiots. And I'm just like, I can't remember what they did. I can't remember if they clapped or if they did something. And I was just like, shut up. Like I actually screamed at them. I'm like, shut up. They were just being absolute wankers. But it was look, I loved it. But again, one thing you'll learn, depending on how long this podcast lasts in terms of episodes, one thing you will learn about me with movies is that I'm fairly easy to please. Like I don't go into movies looking for Oscar-worthy performances or
you're not arty-farty.
Nah, deep and meaningful, anything. I go in there to just enjoy myself. And if I can switch off the brain, great. Very easy for me to do.
Nice.
But yes, John Wick 4, loved it. Again, I prefer the non-Illuminati, so I like the first movie. But I also understand why they kind of didn't have a choice but to go the Illuminati route. It felt like this is going to sound so odd, and we're going to end up on a video game tangent in the movie podcast. But it almost reminds me of Halo CE versus all the other Halos. So Halo CE was very intimate. The story hinted at something bigger going on.
Yeah.
But it was, and then in Halo 2, 3, 4, Reach, you started to get all the expanded stuff coming in. This felt the same. So John Wick was very intimate, but it hinted that there was other stuff going on, like with the Continental, and it was worldwide, and there was hints of it there. but it was still very focused. And then John Wick 2 comes along and it's all, whoa, we're traveling in the desert and we're doing the Illuminati thing. And
the whole go to the edge of the desert and if he'll come, he'll come. If not, you're dead was a bit.
I know. I'm like, oh, God, really?
But, I mean, I guess the last comment, because I'm just looking at chat and making sure we're rising to the occasion. But if you had to break the film down into acts of the different sequences, right? So you've got the first act, second act, third act. First act is obviously the whole Osaka piece. The second act is going to Belarus, the big fight with Scott Adkins. Third act is the kind of the march to the church, right? And the final.
How
finale.
Exhausting was him trying to get up those stairs?
I mean, that was the fall down the stairs. Can we talk about how ridiculous the stairs?
I started getting annoyed. By the end of it. By the third or fourth time he was knocked back down the stairs, I'm like, I'm getting anxious. Like,
when he went, like,
really annoy me.
He fell like 3 levels, and I was like, there were a couple of bits where it was like double flat before it did more stairs. I was like, come on.
Oh my God.
He's meant to be this world-class assassin. Like, just put your fucking hands out, bro, and stop rolling.
I know. I was getting they're like, how long have I got left? I've got a minute left. And he falls down again. How long have I got left? 50 seconds left. And then he goes down again. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was a bit OTT. That stair fall was like, was a bit like, I was like, come on, guys. You're pushing
I was getting like really... I was ready to walk out. I'm like, stop.
You know the movie logic and time. Like, it doesn't matter until they say it matters. Like, they can say, 5 minutes, and then 20 minutes of the movie later, 3 minutes left.
I know. It's just, it was really annoying the way they just kept knocking him down. It was just...
You know what I think?
Pissing me off.
I wasn't a huge fan of 3 and not the biggest fan of 2. This one nailed it more because I actually really liked the ancillary characters and the other characters a lot more. They were way better. Donnie Yen pretty much doing most of his own improvisation on the joking, because originally they wanted to be super serious, Chinese martial arts man. He's like, no, fuck you. I don't want to do this. Like when the Marquis walks up to him at the end, he's like, remember your daughter. And he's like, fuck off.
It was great fun. He was a great character.
He's like, I don't want to just be the stereotypical martial arts Ip Man that I always end up playing in these Hollywood movies, and I'm really happy that they let him do that.
He actually acted his pants off as well. Like, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, it's possible, but I felt like he actually played the character to the best of his ability. Like, it was a really good performance.
Oh, so he's
not just
IP
martial
man.
arts. Yeah, he's Ip Man. Like, Donnie Yen is legendary.
Oh yeah,
Ip Man is the.
I know
of
Donnie Yen. I know of Donnie Yen. I'm just saying, like, he was in Rogue One. He was in Triple X, Return of Xander Cage.
Yeah. Did you ever see? If you know Ip Man is the guy that trained Bruce Lee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. IRL. So that's the legend of Ip Man. It was the guy that trained Bruce Lee. But he had an interesting life. Okay. But then how much of the films is anything to do with his life is questionable.
He was in Blade 2. He was in Blade 2. Donnie Yen.
He was in Blade 2.
Oh, wow.
No way.
Highlander Endgame.
Oh, and it was Ip Man 4 for the Scott Adkins fight.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's when,
I think it got really bad in 2 and 3, and then it got better in 4.
Yeah, 4.
Hold on. The job he did and his purpose are 2 different things.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, he did a perfectly good job. But what the hell was his purpose?
It's just another threat.
But he wasn't a threat. He kept helping him.
It was a morally gray thing. Yeah, like similar to Kane in that didn't want to go after him, was really trying to help him so that eventually they would pay him more and more. He just wanted a bunch of money. So by keeping John Wick alive longer, get more money.
But
I don't know. It's just
Donnie Yen, Kane still felt like he was trying to get him, and he fought him a couple of times. Mr. Nobody at no stage fought him.
He wasn't. He was trying to keep him alive to up the bounty.
Correct. But then once he saved his dog,
he really loved his dog, man.
He was trying to kill him before he saved his dog. That was the time he was trying to kill him. And then he saved his dog, and he's like, fuck it.
I thought that was quite a good callback to John Wick 1. Was like, this was all started because of the love.
That's right. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said. I'm like, see, because John remembers how it felt to lose his dog.
And that's why he didn't kill him.
That's why he didn't kill the dog. And then the Mr. Nobody was like, "Oh well, fuck! He saved my best friend. He almost risked himself to save my best friend, as if I'm going to kill this guy."
And I think that's the point. It was showing that there was still a heart somewhere in John Wick. He wasn't just death personified. Like maybe that was the point of the character. You know,
maybe I don't know. It just seemed, yeah. Look, put it this way: would that movie change without him in it?
It'd be worse.
Not really.
Well, it wouldn't.
Not
but
really.
then that gave John Wick a moment of humanity. So maybe that was the point.
Yeah.
And it was a logical through point on how they could keep finding him. Otherwise, they needed that tracker to keep finding John Wick because he's hopping around, all these different places. And he was trying to kill him in that apartment fight. Like he wasn't holding back at all. They were trying to kill each other in that apartment fight up until the dog part.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that he was trying to kill him. Like he was going to kill him because he never actually engaged him at any stage. Just at that very end bit. Just at that very end bit. That was it.
But he had him.
Game sequence.
He had him. Like John Wick he was about to take the shot. And then that guy came in and John Wick could have finished it and instead he shot. And that was the bit where the guy, and that was the point, I think, was that Batman's best friend and all that jazz and stuff. But yeah, it was a really good movie. 3.5 stars for me. And that's not a knock. Like I know I saw IGN gave it a 10 out of 10. I'm like, in all regards of like technical ability and cinematography and lighting, but
music.
I didn't think the music was as good this time around. Like it was fine, but it wasn't as catchy. Like they only brought back the classic John Wick motif a couple of times. I was just like, oh, that's a shame. But it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. I'm content giving it 4.
Fair. I won't argue. But yes, and this is an interesting one, Nick. So when we set about organizing this, I recommended a classic to you, which is the 1997 movie Grosse Point Blank with John and Joan Cusack.
There's like 6 Cusacks in this movie.
John and Joan Cusack, Dan Aykroyd.
They're the 2 known ones. But there's quite a few Cusacks in this movie.
Well, it was written and produced by John Cusack. So he didn't
Mini Driver, Jeremy Piven pre his hair being fixed.
Yeah.
When he's got all the way back to here.
Jeremy Piven, the ultimate buddy in every early 90s rom-com. Bless Jeremy Piven.
And that's the thing. Like, so I'll be up front here. I forgot to watch this movie until yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to watch Grosse Point Blank because I'd been meaning to watch it I thought I'll watch it during the week with my wife. We'll watch it. But just for whatever reason, we just never got around to watching it. And I'm like, man, so I quickly jumped on my phone and watched it while I was at work yesterday, the first hour while I was at work. And then I came home and watched the rest. And I liked it. Freaked out when I saw it was 1997. Because
it's a movie that feels very 80s.
It feels like if you had told me that movie was made in 1987, I would have been like, oh yeah, totally 1997 or 87 or 92 or something like that. Like if you think about other movies that came out around the time of this movie, it's like,
I mean, this was after Jurassic Park.
That's what I mean. This was after Jurassic Park. This was like around the same time as, I don't know, 97. I think Armageddon was 98.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It just, it feels older than that. And I'm not saying that in a necessarily bad way, but like by 97, most movies had started to become and look more modern. Like The People versus Larry Flint was 96. So if you think about that movie and then you look at Grosse Point Blank, it's just, and maybe it was intentional because it was all about him going back to his hometown. The last time his hometown saw him was 1986.
Yeah, when he left high school.
So that was the last time anyone there saw him. So maybe they made it look that old, like an old 80s John Hughes movie on purpose.
Maybe to a degree. It's an interesting. It's like it's one of my probably in my top 10 of all time. Like I grew up watching that movie. Yeah, man. There's just so many great little interactions that, and this is the difference, right? Like, so the reason that I kind of suggested this movie to pair up with John Wick is they're both about assassins, right? John Cusack plays a hitman that's a contract killer. He assassinates people all over the world. He's kind of bummed out about it. He's having an existential crisis. He's kind of forced this psychiatrist, like, because it's a bit of a black
is
comedy.
that with Alan Arkin? Alan Arkin's very underused, though. Alan Arkin is very underused. Like, because my wife loves Alan Arkin, so when I told her he was in this, she's like, "Oh, what?" And I love the way he's like, "You told me 4 sessions in what you do, and from that moment, I didn't want to work with you anymore. And you keep coming back here at the same time."
Yeah, and it's those little comedic interactions, like where he goes, "Don't kill anybody for a few days. See what it feels like." And he goes, "All right, I'll give it a shot." He's like, "No, don't give it a shot. Don't shoot anyone." It's just like,
it's so good.
It's some really good comedy mixed in with a story with a little bit of heart, because Minnie Driver and Cusack's, their chemistry actually kind of works, right? So Minnie Driver was stood up at the prom and he just disappears. He went and joined the army, became a CIA operative, and then became a contract killer of his own volition.
That's right.
He goes back, and what I love throughout the whole movie is every time someone asks him what he does, he's like, "Oh, I'm a professional killer." And they all laugh.
Just thought he was joking. Yeah. They all just assume he's joking. He's like, "I'm a professional killer." Like, a part of me wishes I had seen this movie in '97, because I feel like it was the first. I feel like it was the first movie to do this concept of a professional killer having an existential crisis, because I'm pretty sure a lot of movies have done it since Grosse Point Blank.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the professional killer gets in these real life situations type of thing. Like this must have been the first movie to do it. I feel like, you look at Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Like I started thinking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith after I saw this movie. I'm like, oh, so that's where Mr. and Mrs. Smith got a little bit of inspiration from Grosse Point Blank.
But it is an indie movie. Like it's nothing to be compared to like a Mr. and Mrs. Like it's I think it was like 20 million
budget. I'm talking about the the themes and the story. I'm not talking about how it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. Dan Aykroyd. I'm not sure Dan Aykroyd was a great pick for that role.
But that's what I love about it. It's like chubby Dan Aykroyd just wandering down like with the twin guns. He just looks ridiculous.
That wasn't that weird. Like I look at this film and I think, man, action choreography has probably
come a long way.
Like, given that technology is not involved in it, like obviously nothing has evolved more than technology, because technology increases exponentially. But given that it's all physical, action choreography has evolved and improved out of sight over the last 30 years. Like, it's insane the stuff that happens in movies now compared to 30 years ago, with the exception being the actual movies from overseas, like Bruce Lee's movies, like IP Man. Like, I'm talking from a Hollywood perspective now. I think Hollywood's taken a long time to catch up to Eastern cinema.
The problem I have with a lot of modern movies is they're all quippy, like ha, short and witty scripts, or they're trying to be, and they don't take enough time out. Like if you're thinking of action, like I know Jesse's playing some action clips at the moment, right? And they look kind of cheesy and old school. But they form.
I know, the double gun thing.
Yeah, they form something like 10 minutes of a 2-hour flick, right? Because that's not the point. And so many movies now have to have these huge, and like John Wick's a great counterpoint, right? It isn't about the exposition. It isn't about the plot. It is about an excuse to have ridiculously choreographed fight sequences that escalate. Yeah, that one. That escalate beyond and beyond, like next level shit. Whereas this wants to be a character movie, and it does it so well that when the action does hit, it's often to serve the humor. And that's
yeah.
I think so many movies now stopped doing that, and I miss proper good just having dialogue and seeing two characters that have got good chemistry, just
Like
doing their
Tango
thing.
and Cash.
Yeah, like just old school. And you know, I'm an old school movie guy, and a lot of modern movies really annoy me because I'm just like, why is it this way? Like
there aren't many modern movies that manage to capture that like the 90s action movies did.
Yeah.
Like the only modern action movie or movies I can think of that managed to bring that is, have you seen Welcome to the Jungle with The Rock?
Yeah.
It's called The Rundown in the US. In the US, it's called The Rundown with Sean William Scott from American Pie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And The Rock. That to me, if you had told me that was a 90s action movie, I would have 1,000% believed.
But again, The Rock is
amazing movie.
Super quippy in it still.
It's so good though. It is. Welcome to the Jungle is. Yes, Brit. Established dominance with the baboons. You know how the baboons like humping you? It's so good. I love that movie. And Sean William Scott.
Man, is he okay? Has he been in anything recently?
Not really.
He got very typecast as the. I remember. Did he do a ninja movie once? Sean William Scott.
I can't even remember.
He did a ninja movie because he was trying to desperately escape the typecast. Stifler's mum. Jock.
Thing about Sean William Scott is take his clothes off. That dude is ripped.
Yeah, and that's why I think he did a ninja movie.
He's ripped as Sean William Scott. But that's a tangent. But Grosse Point Blank. So Jesse, I sent Jesse a screenshot before the show because I wanted to show this screenshot of this movie because I couldn't stop laughing when I saw Doom 2 on an arcade machine in the background.
Oh, mate, I know. And it was just the trailer being played as footage when he was playing it.
Is Doom 2 an arcade game in America? Like, I didn't know that Doom 2 was an arcade game. I was just like freaking out. Because at first, again, because I was watching it on my phone, I couldn't quite understand at first what was going on and why he was freaking out about the convenience store being there. But then I realized it was because of... So that you can see it now. That arcade game in the background is Doom 2.
Yeah.
It's like, why is Doom 2 an arcade game? Because this convenience store is where his house used to be.
Yeah. He just goes there and he's like, why are you here?
Yeah, he's like, why are you here? What's going on? He thought it was some sort of weird conspiracy where they were hiding things. And, they did that whole silly sequence where the dude had his headphones on playing Doom and they're like shooting in the background and he's like oblivious. So it's like, man, they're just like, they're not noise cancelling over the ear headphones. I'm pretty sure he could hear that gunfire.
He was listening to some Ace of Spades, listening to some Motorhead.
Ace of Spades. I didn't even know that song was that old.
Mate, that soundtrack as well, though, the whole soundtrack for that movie is
not bad.
Pure class. Like some proper banging tunes throughout the whole soundtrack of Grosse Point Blank.
I will say, like, I loved at the start when he was, doing all the kills at the start, and then he had that one where he was in the apartment above and he was
with the
feeding
string.
String through it. It was dripping that was so cool. And then right at the last second, the guy's like, and he just moves over, gets him in the face.
But it's the callousness. Like you see John Cusack's character, like he comes in, he goes, whatever it is I'm doing, I'll stop. And he's like, it's not me. And just ends him because that's his job. But I have to give a shout out as well to Joan Cusack. So that's John Cusack's sister. She was in School of Rock as the head teacher, right? Yeah. She's got that kind of voice or mouth that is constantly like chewing on something on one side. But I loved like how she's all like innocent and talking and being kind. And then you get that one clip where she's on the phone to like the arms supplier and she just starts going absolutely mental. And then she cuts back to the other line and starts talking about making a chicken broth. Like it's such a wonderful little gem of a movie. And if you haven't seen it, like we've spoiled a bit of it, but not a huge amount. Like go watch it. It is pure class. It's a great little film.
But see, the thing is, like I'm on IMDb now. The movie Assassins, because I kept thinking about Assassins while I was watching this film.
I haven't seen that in a while.
with Stallone and Banderas. That was 95.
Yeah, and it feels so old.
And Grosse Point Blank is 97. And it's a kind of a similar thing because so Stallone is basically John Cusack and then Banderas is Dan Aykroyd. So I wonder if Grosse Point Blank took a bit of inspiration from Assassins.
Well, no,
and they cross
what
paths.
happens. You know what happens a lot is someone pitches a movie, it goes around, the script goes around, and someone rejects it, and then they just take the ideas and they make their own movie with it.
Yeah, that's why you get Armageddon and Deep Impact and all of those.
Yeah, like I look at Assassins and then I look at Grosse Point Blank, and Assassins feels like the more serious version of Grosse Point Blank, or Grosse Point Blank's the comedy. Yes, I know it's a Richard Donner movie, but what I'm saying is Grosse Point Blank feels like the John Hughes version of Assassins.
That is
John Hughes.
That is a perfect analogy. It's like if John Hughes directed an R-rated Assassins film.
Yes, if John Hughes was asked to make the sequel to the 1995 Stallone Assassins movie, it would have been Grosse Point Blank. Because it's not meant to be a serious assassin movie. It's meant to be more of a lighthearted, almost a comedy, really. Like that guy goes to his prom, his reunion, and he kills him, and they just left all the blood behind. Did you notice how they didn't bother cleaning up the blood? They didn't even show him going to pick up the gun that was left behind. Where a more serious movie would have gone into the whole detail of clean up the blood from everywhere.
He did clean up the blood a bit. He pulled down the second. He got Jeremy to pull down the second banner.
Sort of like, yeah. Anyway, because again, it's not meant to be a serious thing. It's meant to be a lighthearted, John Hughes movie, effectively. But yeah, it was good.
It's good.
So, I liked it.
I'm glad you liked it. If you had to give it a star rating, what would you give it? You know, I know it's a bit older.
I know. I wish I had watched it back then. See, if I had watched it in 97, I would have enjoyed it so much more.
Yeah.
So like you, it probably would have been like a favorite of mine.
And that's the thing.
Like 17 years old. Because I was 17 years old in 97. So had I seen it back then, I probably would have liked it. Because I loved Assassins. The Banderas Stallone movie in 95. I was 15 then. And I love that movie. So I probably would have loved Grosse Point Blank. But you got to remember, for everyone watching that's not old, and I know Britt is old, back in 97, for all intents and purposes, there was no internet. There was no YouTube. There was no nothing, right? So and they didn't really advertise movies unless they were the big budget movies on TV. You didn't get ads for movies like Grosse Point Blank on TV or anything like that. So the only way you watched movies back then, in the same way you only played games, was through the cover, who made it, like
even the cover
star of this movie.
Even the cover of Grosse Point Blank looks like a John Hughes movie.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I never saw it. Like I'd go to the video store and I'd see the cover, which just looked like, Minnie Driver and John Cusack, and I didn't even notice the gun on the cover.
I know.
I didn't notice the gun till now. So back when I used to pass that movie in the video store, I never noticed the gun. So it just looked like a random movie. And then I looked at the name, Grosse Point Blank, and I'm like, I have no interest in this movie.
Yeah.
But had the cover indicated a comedic assassin movie, I probably
would have been more on board. Yeah.
And I probably would have thoroughly enjoyed it back then. It was still good now. Don't get me wrong. And that's why the first thing I thought was this movie. I feel like this was the movie that set the tone for other movies to be, haha, professional killer has an existential crisis. I didn't know that this was basically the movie to set that up.
Yeah.
So if I had seen it back then, I could probably confidently say that it'd be like a 4-star movie. If I had seen it back in 97 as a 17-year-old, now it's more like a 3.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Like even
now
in
2023,
it's one of my personal faves. But if I had to give it an objective rating, it's like a 3.5, 4 for me. Like I think that the only thing that really lets it down is the perhaps slightly unnecessary finale at the end, like with the whole gun shoot. Like it was funny. The whole
That
final
felt
scene
very
with
abrupt. It felt like it
felt
just ended.
it felt very abrupt, right? And then suddenly Mini Driver is absolutely fine with the fact that he is, a contract killer. Or X1, maybe he's quit the job. Who knows? But the final shot is them driving off.
Did you notice that Dan Aykroyd was still breathing with the TV on his head?
Yeah.
In the closer up angle, you can see him still breathing when he's supposed to be dead.
It's a pet hate of mine on people that are pretending to be dead, and I can still see their chest going up and down. I'm like, come on, man, just hold your breath for the shot.
You just need to hold your breath for 15 seconds. Like, come on,
manage. Yeah,
do it. Like, come on. He just kills him with the TV. I'm just like, that was really
popcorn.
There was no. Yeah, he just picks up the TV, smashes it on his head, and it's over.
Yeah, it was great. They just had some fun with it, man. There was no like crazy face off. It was just very silly, but it had a heart, and I liked that about that movie.
No, it was good. I didn't mind it. Good. But you need to watch it. So hold on. So it's funny because what's its face? Grosse Point Blank is 97.
Yeah.
Very Bad Things, I think, is 98. Yes, it is 98. My memory when it comes to movie stuff is a lot better than I call myself. I'm the self-appointed human IMDb. Very Bad Things is 98. That's the old movie we've got to do next.
Okay, so
Very Bad Things. I don't want to do the old Mario movie. I don't want to watch that.
I don't want to be punished with Bob Hoskins as well.
I don't want to watch that movie again. Like, I watched the old Mario movie back when it came out when I was a kid. I think I was like 13. And, I just like that Yoshi was a raptor, like an actual dinosaur. I remember thinking, oh my God, how cool is this? But that movie was garbage. But you gotta watch Very Bad Things.
Okay, we'll get it on the list.
Man, I saw this at the cinema with my best man, the man who would become my best man. And I remember we're watching it, and we were so. And you know who directed Very Bad Things?
Peter Berg. Yeah.
And we're watching it, and we were just. Oh, we shouldn't talk about it because we're going to do it on an episode. But I'm about to go on a Very Bad Things tangent. You just gotta watch it.
I'll watch it. I mean, it's IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes ratings aren't great, but I'll give it a shot.
Don't worry about that crap, man. I ignore that. I care about movie reviews even less than I care about video game reviews. Like, because I feel like movies are even. I don't even know if this is possible, but I feel like movies are even more subjective than games.
Yeah, they are.
They're both subjective, don't get me wrong, but like movies even more so. Because games, there are certain aspects of video games that like there are certain aspects of video games that are almost objective. Like I doubt there'd be too many people on Earth that would be like, oh my God, Halo Infinite feels crappy to play. Like, no, those people don't exist. Like, for all the complaints you could have about Infinite, how it feels is not one of them.
Yeah, it's really good to play.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not a very subjective thing. Halo Infinite just feels great. Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could complain about, but not the visuals. Visually, that game looks amazing. That's pretty much an objective fact. Like, that game looks amazing. Movies don't have that. Movies are 1000% subjective.
Yeah, like I can love the cinematography in Blade Runner 2049. Someone else could say, oh, it's very clinical and it's, it's very dark and they might just not gel with that. Whereas
that's right. So movies are even more. That's why I flat out don't listen to movie reviews like at all. Like I went into Black Adam because everyone was calling it the worst movie ever. And I was like, that movie was fine. It was perfectly okay. Like, because again, I go into movies expecting different things. I don't go into a Marvel movie or a superhero movie wanting to watch cinema. Like that's what I'm there for. I'm not there.
There are cinema movies and there are watch at home movies. Like I watched Cocaine Bear Glad I didn't go to the cinema for it. It was.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's not great. It's not a great film at all. All of the best bits are in the trailer. The rest of it is absolute garbage. It feels like a terrible B movie that you you think that they're making it. The bear's on cocaine. It's just not that funny. It's just not.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And it's just but someone else might have thought, like, someone maybe half my age might be like, oh my god, it was brilliant. But yeah, it just fell flat for me. This was like comedy. Comedy is subjective, right? I find Grosse Point Blank darkly funny, and someone else might be thinking like, oh, why is that funny? And they might not get the humor. And
that's why you got to watch Very Bad Things. Also, Jeremy Piven is in it, so
he's there. He's hanging out. He's the classic buddy in all movies.
And man, like, we watched Very Bad Things. We went off on a tangent then, but we watched Very Bad Things in the cinema, and we both walked out of it as like a 17 and an 18-year-old going, we were so depressed after it, because that movie gets so dark and it goes so far down the rabbit hole that by the end of it, I was stressing out watching this film as a 17-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, what's happening in this bloody movie?
Okay.
And
I'm intrigued.
Like, we were starting to feel sick. We were like, oh my God, what is happening right now? You gotta watch it. It's so full on, this film, man.
I'm intrigued. I will give it a watch. I'll give it a watch.
Full on.
But hey, we'll save that for another episode. Like, these are designed to be short and sweet.
Yes, we have to wrap this up because we've been going for well over an hour.
Yeah.
So next episode, I'm not sure when we're going to do it, but it's going to be the Super Mario Brothers movie, the new one, because we're all going to the cinema to watch it, and we're going to do Very Bad Things.
Understood.
So I will rewatch it
through different movies. But excellent.
Yes.
To all of our patrons, obviously, you know, this is extra content for you guys. We hope you enjoy it. We do want to get patron feedback on this, so you know, you can drop a comment on the YouTube channel, but equally hit us up in Discord, in the community Discord. Hit us up on the Patreon forums. Let us know if you have movies that you think we should watch and talk about.
Yeah.
Some good pairings, like fine wines. You know, we want to understand what you want us to pair up. Like, I like doing, like, it was fun doing John Wick and this, you know. So if you have ideas, talk to us, because this is very loose and we kind of want to have fun with it, right? But as always, we really, really appreciate your support. It means a lot to us. We know we've refreshed everything. We know we broke everything on the forums. So that's all fixed now, by the way. People can actually see the Patreon lounge again.
Yeah, we didn't have a single community question because no one could actually see the thread.
Whoops.
But
really? they're all fixed now. So I have tagged all patrons on the forum to let them know that it's fixed. So, but yeah, we'll be back. You know, whenever we're back, it will probably be within the next couple of weeks. Once a weekish after Mario's been out and we've all seen it, we'll sit down. We'll have a chat about the movie, and we'll see you all here.
I don't think you'll have to worry about spoilers too much with the Mario movie. He probably survives at the end.
Yeah, if I'm guessing. Being up for a sequel, Luigi's Mansion. But yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Ciao for now.